Gratitude as a discipline, not just a feeling. When most people hear the word gratitude, they imagine a fleeting moment of warmth, something you feel on Thanksgiving Day, or when a stranger holds the door for you, or when life happens to be going well. Gratitude, in that sense, is treated like an occasional emotion, something that shows up when conditions are right. But if you look closely at the people who live with resilience, clarity, and strength, you notice something different. For them, gratitude is not occasional. It is not a mood that comes and goes. Gratitude is a discipline. It is a daily training of attention, a deliberate decision to focus on what is present, what is working, and what can be learned, even in the middle of difficulty. This shift, seeing gratitude as a discipline rather than an emotion, is life-changing. Because if you only practice gratitude when things feel good, you miss its real power. Gratitude matters most when life feels heavy, when stress multiplies, when uncertainty clouds your mind. It is in those moments that gratitude becomes more than a pleasant idea. It becomes a stabilizer, a compass, and a source of strength. Gratitude and the modern American life. The pace of modern American life is relentless. Work hours extend into late nights. Notifications compete for every spare second. News cycles push negativity and fear straight into our homes and pockets. Social media magnifies comparison, leaving many people more focused on what they lack than what they already have. This constant noise comes with a cost: stress, anxiety, and disconnection. It is no surprise that surveys show record levels of burnout and loneliness across the United States. Against this backdrop, gratitude is not just a pleasant practice. It is a survival skill. It is a countermeasure against a culture of distraction and dissatisfaction. Choosing gratitude does not mean ignoring injustice or pretending hardships do not exist. It means refusing to let the negative dominate your field of vision. Gratitude broadens your awareness. It creates balance. It allows you to recognize what is broken without losing sight of what is still intact. Why gratitude is a discipline. Think of gratitude as training for your mind in the same way exercise is training for your body. If you only work out when you feel motivated, your health will collapse. The same is true for gratitude. Practiced occasionally, it feels nice. Practiced daily, it transforms your inner world. This is why some of the most successful leaders, athletes, and creators treat gratitude as non-negotiable. Oprah Winfrey famously keeps a gratitude journal. NBA champion LeBron James incorporates gratitude reflections into his pre-game routines. Executives at Fortune 500 companies often begin meetings by recognizing what is working before diving into problems. Gratitude is not a luxury for them. It is a source of clarity and strength in high-pressure environments. Gratitude and transformation. The deepest power of gratitude is not that it makes you feel good. The deepest power is that it changes who you become. When you practice gratitude as a discipline, your focus sharpens. You waste less energy on small frustrations and invest more in meaningful progress. Your resilience grows. You can withstand challenges without collapsing into despair. Your relationships strengthen. Specific gratitude builds trust, respect, and deeper bonds. Your sense of purpose deepens. You recognize that even in struggle, you are still moving forward, still learning, still building. Gratitude is both a lens and a lever. It shapes how you see the world, and it gives you leverage to act more powerfully within it. a roadmap for this guide. This book-length guide is designed to move gratitude out of the category of feel-good advice and into the realm of disciplined practice. Each chapter will take you deeper, from the science of gratitude to practical tools you can use daily, to the way gratitude strengthens relationships, focus, and long-term resilience. By the end, you will see gratitude not as an occasional exercise, but as a foundation for a stronger life. And you will have a system to practice it consistently, even on the days when it feels hardest. Because gratitude is not simply about saying thank you. It is about building a life anchored in clarity, strength, and purpose. It is about training your mind to recognize the gifts and lessons that are already here, and using them to build the future you were meant to live. Chapter 1. The Science of Gratitude. Gratitude is often dismissed as something soft, an optional exercise reserved for holidays or self-help seminars. But science tells a different story. Over the past 2 decades, research from universities across the United States has confirmed that gratitude is not just emotionally uplifting, it is physiologically transformative. Gratitude reshapes the brain, strengthens the body, and improves long-term resilience. When you practice gratitude consistently, you are not simply adopting a positive outlook. You are altering neural pathways, rewiring attention, and training your nervous system to respond to life with greater balance and strength. Gratitude and the brain. The human brain is designed with what psychologists call a negativity bias. Evolution taught our ancestors to pay close attention to threats, predators, scarcity, social rejection, because survival depended on it. In modern life, that same bias keeps us hyper-focused on problems while ignoring what is stable, supportive, or good. Gratitude interrupts this pattern. Neuroscientists at the University of Southern California found that expressing gratitude activates the medial prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain linked to learning, decision-making, and emotional regulation. Simply writing down things you are grateful for shifts blood flow and electrical activity in the brain, enhancing the ability to manage stress and maintain perspective. A 2015 study at Indiana University went even further. Participants who practiced gratitude journaling for just 8 weeks showed lasting changes in the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, changes that persisted months after the practice ended. Gratitude, in other words, is not just a feeling you experience in the moment. It literally trains the brain for long-term balance and resilience. Gratitude and mental health psychologists Robert Emmons, UC Davis, and Michael McCullough, University of Miami, conducted some of the most famous studies on gratitude. They found that participants who kept weekly gratitude journals reported higher levels of optimism, greater motivation toward health goals, stronger sense of connectedness with others, lower reports of depression and anxiety symptoms. The act of focusing on gratitude reduces the brain's tendency to ruminate. Instead of looping endlessly on stressors, gratitude trains attention toward constructive possibilities. This is why therapists often recommend gratitude practices for patients struggling with depression. It disrupts the cycle of negative self-talk and creates cognitive space for hope. Gratitude and physical health. The benefits do not stop at the mind. Research has shown that gratitude influences physical health in measurable ways. sleep quality improves. A study published in Applied Psychology, Health and Well-Being revealed that people who practiced gratitude journaling slept longer and more soundly. Why? Because gratitude quiets mental chatter before bed. Stress hormones decrease. Researchers at the National Institutes of Health found that gratitude practices reduce cortisol levels, lowering chronic stress responses that damage the body over time. Cardiovascular health strengthens. Patients with heart disease who adopted gratitude exercises reported lower inflammation and better overall health markers. These outcomes are not small. In a society where stress-related illness costs billions in healthcare each year, gratitude becomes more than a personal virtue. It is a public health tool. Gratitude, resilience, and willpower. One of the most fascinating discoveries is how gratitude boosts self-control and resilience. A 2014 study at Northeastern University found that participants who experienced gratitude showed more patience and were more likely to make choices aligned with long-term goals. Gratitude, it turns out, strengthens willpower. Why? Because when you are grateful, you are less desperate. You are not chasing instant relief or short-term pleasure. Gratitude grounds you in what you already have, freeing you from the constant pull of dissatisfaction. From that grounded state, you make clearer decisions and endure discomfort with greater strength. Gratitude as neural training. Think of gratitude as a workout for your nervous system. Every time you practice it, by writing, reflecting, or speaking, you strengthen circuits of calm and awareness. Over time, those circuits become your default. Just as a runner builds endurance by logging miles, you build resilience by logging moments of gratitude. The remarkable truth is this: you do not need perfect circumstances to change your brain. You need consistent practice. 2 minutes of daily gratitude reflection can begin to shift neural patterns within weeks. Science meets inspiration. Science validates what ancient wisdom traditions have taught for centuries. Gratitude is transformative. From the Psalms of the Bible to Stoic philosophy to Native American prayers, gratitude has always been recognized as a pathway to strength. Now neuroscience confirms it. The modern American life, with its pressures, comparisons, and constant noise, makes gratitude more essential, not less. The research shows that gratitude does not merely soften life's edges, it fortifies you. It prepares your mind and body to withstand storms without breaking, to stay steady when the world grows loud. And the best part is this: the tools are within reach. You do not need expensive technology or complex routines. You only need the discipline to begin. Chapter 2. Gratitude as Attention Training. At its core, gratitude is not only about saying thank you. It is a systematic retraining of your attention. What you pay attention to grows. What you ignore fades. Gratitude directs the spotlight of your mind toward what sustains you, rather than what drains you. In a culture that thrives on distraction, where every headline competes for outrage, every notification demands a response, every feed encourages comparison, your attention is constantly under attack. Gratitude is how you reclaim it. The negativity bias, psychologists call it the negativity bias. Our brains are wired to notice problems faster than positives. From an evolutionary standpoint, this bias made sense. Our ancestors survived because they paid close attention to danger, an approaching predator, a sudden change in the environment, the risk of social rejection from the tribe. But in modern life, the same bias traps us in loops of worry, complaint, and comparison. We replay critical emails more than we recall supportive ones. We focus on one negative comment online while ignoring 100 positive reactions. We obsess over what is missing, rather than appreciating what is present. Gratitude interrupts this cycle. It trains the brain to scan for resources, strengths, and blessings, not just threats. Over time, this shifts the default setting of the mind from scarcity to possibility. Gratitude as cognitive detox. Consider the average American morning. Before even leaving bed, many people reach for their phones. Instantly, they are bombarded. Breaking news, urgent emails, trending debates, perfectly curated images of other people's lives. Within 5 minutes, attention is hijacked. Stress chemicals are elevated before the day even begins. Gratitude offers a counter practice. Imagine beginning the day by writing 3 specific things you are thankful for. The quiet of the early hour, the strength of your body to rise, the stability of having a safe home. In less than 2 minutes, you shift your mental state. The noise of the world does not vanish, but your focus is rooted before the flood of distractions arrives. This is why researchers describe gratitude as a cognitive detox. It clears the residue of comparison and complaint, freeing mental energy for what matters. The power of selective attention. Attention is not infinite. Every moment you give to negativity, distraction, or comparison is a moment you cannot invest in growth, creativity, or connection. Gratitude teaches you to allocate attention wisely. Think of it as mental budgeting. Just as you would not give away your entire paycheck to strangers on the street, you cannot afford to give away your attention to every piece of bad news or every cynical opinion. Gratitude disciplines your focus. It reminds you, this is worth my energy, that is not. Shifting the story you tell yourself. Attention is also narrative. Whatever you focus on becomes the story you tell about your life. If you focus on scarcity, I never have enough. If you focus on setbacks, nothing ever works for me. If you focus on gratitude, even in difficulty, I am still growing, still supported, still moving forward. The difference between despair and resilience is often the difference between the stories we choose to highlight. Gratitude rewrites those stories, not with denial, but with balance. It does not erase pain. It places pain alongside strength, failure alongside learning, scarcity alongside abundance. Practical training for attention. Gratitude is most powerful when practiced as intentional attention training. A few proven methods. 1. Morning journaling. Write down 3 specific gratitudes before checking your phone. 2nd, evening reflection. Identify one moment from the day you would have overlooked without gratitude. 3. The attention audit. Ask, what took most of my attention today? Did it strengthen me or drain me? 4. Mindful pause. In stressful moments, stop and name one thing you are thankful for in the present. These practices are simple, but they retrain the brain. With repetition, they shift your default attention away from constant crisis toward consistent clarity. Building mental freedom. When you master your attention, you build freedom. Most people live like captives of external noise. They chase every notification, react to every opinion, and exhaust themselves in battles that do not matter. Gratitude breaks that cycle. It roots your attention in what is real, meaningful, and sustaining. This is why people who practice gratitude consistently describe feeling lighter. They are not carrying every burden the world throws at them. They are selective. They protect their attention as the most valuable possession they own, because it is. Inspiration. Backed by science, neuroscientists at UCLA discovered that people who regularly practiced gratitude showed stronger activity in the anterior cingulate cortex, an area of the brain responsible for regulating emotions and controlling focus. The implication is clear. Gratitude sharpens the very mechanisms that allow you to direct attention where it matters most. The conclusion is both scientific and deeply practical. If you want freedom from distraction, if you want resilience in a noisy world, gratitude is not optional. It is the training ground for attention. Closing thought: every day you are asked, by the world, by your phone, by your own restless mind, what will you focus on? Gratitude gives you the strength to answer wisely. It is not the loudest voice, but it is the voice that builds. Because attention builds life. And gratitude is how you take back control of your attention, one moment at a time. Chapter 3. The practice of daily gratitude. Gratitude becomes powerful not when it is understood, but when it is practiced. Reading about its benefits can inspire you, but transformation happens only when gratitude becomes part of your daily rhythm. Like any discipline, it requires structure, repetition, and intention. The good news: practicing gratitude does not require hours of free time or radical lifestyle changes. It requires minutes. It requires consistency. And those minutes, compounded daily, reshape the way you think, respond, and live. Journaling. The anchor practice. The most researched method of gratitude practice is journaling. It is simple. Each day, write down 3 to 5 things you are grateful for. The key is specificity. Not, I'm grateful for my family, but I'm grateful that my daughter laughed so hard at dinner tonight. Not, I'm grateful for my health, but I'm grateful that I had the strength to run 2 miles this morning. Specificity matters because it activates memory and emotion, not just intellect. It forces the brain to pause, recall, and relive the experience, deepening the impact. Psychologist Robert Emmons, one of the leading gratitude researchers, found that people who wrote short gratitude lists just once a week for 10 weeks reported higher optimism and motivation than those who wrote about hassles or neutral events. Daily journaling amplifies this effect even more. Morning gratitude, evening reflection. Gratitude can bookend your day. Morning practice. Before checking emails or scrolling news, list 3 things you are thankful for. This roots your attention in stability before the noise begins. Imagine the difference. Starting your day grounded versus starting it with chaos from the headlines. Evening reflection. Before sleep, identify one meaningful moment from the day you might have overlooked. It could be a kind word from a coworker, a smooth commute, or the comfort of a warm meal. This slows down the racing mind, reduces stress, and prepares the body for deeper rest. Together, morning gratitude and evening reflection create a rhythm. You begin the day with clarity, and you end it with perspective. The gratitude jar. One of the simplest yet most effective systems is the gratitude jar. Each day, write 1 sentence of gratitude on a slip of paper and place it in the jar. At the end of a month or year, review the collection. Why does this work? because gratitude is often invisible in the moment. The jar creates a visible record of your progress. On hard days, you can literally hold evidence that your life contains light, even if your mood tells you otherwise. Families across the U.S. use this practice around Thanksgiving as a ritual, but it is even more powerful when used year-round. Gratitude walks. Exercise itself improves mental health, but pairing it with gratitude multiplies the benefit. A gratitude walk means taking 10 to 15 minutes to notice and name what you appreciate in your environment. It can be as simple as the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the sound of birds in the morning, the strength of your legs carrying you forward. Researchers at UC San Diego found that participants who practiced gratitude during daily walks reported greater vitality and motivation than those who walked without reflection. Gratitude transforms routine exercise into a training ground for awareness. Gratitude in relationships. Gratitude is most impactful when expressed outwardly. Saying thank you is common courtesy. Expressing gratitude with depth builds trust and connection. Try the 3-part thank you. 1. Name the action. Thank you for taking the time to explain the project details. 2. State the impact. It helped me feel confident moving forward. 3. Highlight the quality. I appreciate your patience and clarity. This simple structure elevates gratitude from politeness to recognition. In workplaces, marriages, and friendships, it strengthens bonds and builds goodwill. The attention audit. Once a week, conduct a gratitude-based attention audit. Ask yourself, where did my attention go this week? Did I dwell more on frustrations or on blessings? Did I invest my focus in what builds me, or did I let distractions steal it? This reflection transforms gratitude from a reactive practice into a proactive strategy. It helps you identify patterns, adjust priorities, and align your focus with your values. Overcoming resistance. Many people begin gratitude practices and quit after a few days. Why? Because it feels repetitive, forced, or too simple. But repetition is not a flaw, it is the method. Think of gratitude like brushing your teeth. You do not stop brushing because it feels repetitive. You do it because the benefit accumulates quietly over time. Gratitude works the same way. Its power is in consistency, not novelty. Integrating gratitude into modern American life, gratitude must adapt to modern routines. For busy professionals, it might mean setting a phone reminder at lunch. For parents, it could be asking children at dinner, "What's one good thing from today?" For remote workers, it may involve beginning Zoom meetings with a brief acknowledgement of something positive. These practices may seem small, but they shift the culture of households, teams, and organizations. Gratitude becomes less of a personal exercise and more of a shared atmosphere. Closing thought. Daily gratitude is not about writing the perfect journal entry or saying the perfect words. It is about showing up consistently. Each entry, each reflection, each thank you note is a brick in the foundation of a resilient life. The practice is simple. The discipline is hard. The results are profound. Gratitude, practiced daily, rewires your brain, strengthens your focus, deepens your relationships, and grounds your life in perspective. In a noisy, distracted world, that is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Chapter 4. Gratitude in adversity. It is easy to feel grateful when life runs smoothly. A promotion at work, a healthy report from the doctor, a weekend surrounded by friends. Gratitude flows naturally in those moments. But the true test of gratitude is not how you respond in comfort. It is how you respond in crisis. Gratitude in adversity is not about pretending pain doesn't exist. It is not blind optimism or forced cheerfulness. It is about recognizing that even in difficulty, there are lessons, supports, and hidden strengths that can be acknowledged and used. Far from being denial, this form of gratitude becomes one of the most powerful tools for resilience. The line between gratitude and toxic positivity. In recent years, the idea of gratitude has sometimes been misused as a form of what psychologists call toxic positivity, a shallow insistence on staying positive that dismisses real struggle. Toxic positivity says, "Don't be sad, just be grateful." True gratitude says, "I see the sadness, I feel the loss, and I can still recognize what remains, what sustains me, and what I can learn." This distinction matters. Denying pain only delays healing. Gratitude in adversity does not erase pain. It places it in a larger frame, preventing it from becoming the only thing you see. The science of gratitude under stress studies show that gratitude acts as a buffer against trauma and stress. Researchers at the University of Connecticut found that survivors of crises who practiced gratitude reported higher levels of post-traumatic growth, the ability to not only recover, but to grow stronger because of the challenge. Why? Because gratitude shifts perception from "this destroyed me" to "this tested me, and here is what I gained in the process." It rewires the meaning of suffering, transforming it from an endpoint into a turning point. Learning from difficulty. Think of athletes training under heavy resistance. The weight feels unbearable, but it is precisely that resistance that builds strength. Life's adversities work the same way. Gratitude identifies the strength hidden within the struggle. Examples: health challenges. A cancer survivor may say, "I would never wish this illness on anyone, but it taught me to value every day and every relationship in ways I never did before." Job loss. Someone who loses a position might later reflect, "It forced me to pivot, and now I'm in work that aligns with my values." Failure. Entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley often describe failed startups not as dead ends, but as classrooms. Gratitude allows them to honor the lessons without shame. Gratitude does not glorify suffering. It acknowledges that suffering happened, and that within it, seeds of growth can be found. Practical practices for adversity. The Silver Lining Journal. When facing hardship, write down 3 things you are learning, gaining, or discovering through the struggle. Even if small: patience, resourcefulness, compassion from others. 2. The gratitude letter in hard times. Write a thank you note to someone who supported you during the adversity. Not generic, be specific. This not only strengthens relationships, but reminds you that you are not alone. 3. The Still Here exercise. List what remains intact despite the loss: your health, your skills, your support network, your capacity to act. Focusing on what endures stabilizes the mind in moments of instability. Stories of resilience. American culture is filled with stories of resilience born from adversity. Veterans returning from war, communities rebuilding after natural disasters, families recovering from economic hardship. Gratitude often appears as the thread that carries them through. Consider Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, who described in Man's Search for Meaning how prisoners who focused on even the smallest things sunlight through a window, a shared crust of bread, were more likely to endure suffering without losing hope. While Frankel's story is extreme, the principle applies universally. Gratitude strengthens endurance. Gratitude as perspective, not denial. When practiced in adversity, gratitude is not about ignoring what went wrong. It is about refusing to let what went wrong define the entire narrative. Gratitude reframes failure as feedback, setbacks as preparation, loss as reminder of what matters. This perspective creates emotional flexibility. Instead of collapsing under hardship, you bend, adapt, and continue. That adaptability is the essence of resilience. Closing thought. Adversity is not optional. Every life will face illness, disappointment, or loss. The question is not whether hardship will come, but how you will meet it. Gratitude does not remove the weight. It gives you the strength to carry it. It does not deny the storm. It anchors you until the storm passes. When practiced in adversity, gratitude becomes more than appreciation. It becomes power. It becomes the ability to rise, rebuild, and grow stronger on the other side. Because in the end, resilience is not built by avoiding hardship. It is built by walking through hardship with gratitude as your compass. Chapter 5. Gratitude and Relationships. Gratitude is often spoken of as a personal habit, something you practice in a journal or during quiet reflection. But its greatest power may be found not in solitude, but in connection. When gratitude is expressed and exchanged, it becomes the glue that strengthens marriages, friendships, families, and even workplaces. We often imagine relationships as being held together by love, loyalty, or shared values. These are all essential. Yet research shows that gratitude functions as a daily nutrient for human bonds, feeding them in subtle but powerful ways. Without gratitude, even love can wither under neglect. With gratitude, even ordinary relationships can flourish into extraordinary ones. The science of gratitude in relationships. The Gottman Institute, renowned for its decades of research on marriage, found that successful couples maintain a ratio of at least 5 positive interactions for every negative one. Expressions of gratitude, small acknowledgments, thank yous, notes of appreciation, make up a large portion of those positive interactions. Couples who regularly practice gratitude are far more likely to describe their relationship as satisfying and resilient, even under stress. Similarly, studies from UC Berkeley's Greater Good Science Center found that employees who felt appreciated at work were 50% more productive and reported higher job satisfaction. In friendships, consistent expressions of gratitude increase trust, reduce conflict, and deepen emotional intimacy. Gratitude is more than politeness. It is a signal of recognition. I see you. I value you. You matter. Gratitude in romantic relationships. In marriage or partnership, gratitude can transform routine into intimacy. Daily life often dulls attention. Partners may focus on what's missing rather than what's present. Gratitude reverses this drift. Imagine 2 scenarios. One spouse silently expects the other to handle dinner and resents when it isn't done. Another notices the effort, however small, and says, "Thank you for cooking tonight. I know you've had a long day too." The difference is not just words, it is atmosphere. Gratitude turns obligation into generosity. It keeps partners from taking each other for granted. One study published in Personal Relationships, 2010, found that expressing gratitude to a partner increased relationship satisfaction for both the giver and the receiver. Even more striking, couples who practiced gratitude were less likely to break up over the following 9 months. Gratitude, it seems, is romance's quiet guardian. Gratitude in families. Gratitude functions as a teacher. When parents model thankfulness, expressing it to each other, to their children, even to life's small blessings, children absorb it as part of their worldview. A simple family practice is the gratitude round at dinner. Each member shares one thing they appreciated that day. This ritual not only teaches children the language of gratitude, but creates connection across generations. In American families, where busy schedules often fracture mealtimes and conversation, such practices can serve as anchors. They remind everyone that even in chaos, there is always something to appreciate together. Gratitude in friendships. Friendships thrive on unspoken understanding, but they are nourished by spoken gratitude. Saying, "I'm glad you're in my life," or "Thanks for always listening when I need it," deepens bonds in ways that assumptions never can. Unlike romantic partnerships or family ties, friendships have fewer formal obligations. They are maintained largely by choice. Gratitude ensures that the choice to remain connected is renewed, not taken for granted. Gratitude in the workplace. The American workplace is often defined by deadlines, pressure, and constant measurement. Amid such demands, gratitude can feel like an afterthought. Yet it is precisely in this environment that it matters most. Leaders who express authentic appreciation create cultures of loyalty and collaboration. A 2012 study from the University of Pennsylvania showed that managers who regularly thanked their employees saw a 31% increase in productivity compared to those who didn't. Gratitude costs nothing, yet it yields dividends that money cannot buy: engagement, trust, and resilience. Even peer-to-peer gratitude matters. A quick message, "Thanks for covering that meeting, it helped a lot," can shift workplace culture from competition to cooperation. Practical ways to express gratitude in relationships. 1. The specific thank you. Avoid vague praise. Instead of "thanks for everything," try, "Thank you for staying up with me while I studied. It helped me feel less stressed." Specificity shows attention. 2. The appreciation letter. Once a month. Write a short letter to a friend, family member, or coworker outlining why you appreciate them. Research shows that recipients often keep these letters for years. 3. The gratitude habit. Stack or pair gratitude with existing routines. For example, every time you make coffee for your partner, say one thing you appreciate about them. Over time, it becomes a ritual. 4. Gratitude in conflict. Even in disagreement, acknowledge something you value. "I'm upset about this issue, but I'm grateful that you care enough to talk it through with me." Gratitude softens defensiveness and keeps the bond intact. The multiplier effect. What makes gratitude in relationships so powerful is its reciprocity. When you express appreciation, the other person often feels moved to reciprocate. This creates a positive feedback loop. Gratitude begets gratitude. Kindness begets kindness. In this sense, gratitude is less like a one-time gift and more like a spark that ignites an ongoing flame. The more it is practiced, the stronger and more self-sustaining the relationship becomes. Closing thought. Every relationship has two options: drift into routine or be renewed by recognition. Gratitude is recognition made visible. It says, "I don't just see what you do, I see who you are. Couples who practice gratitude weather storms. Families who practice gratitude raise resilient children. Friends who practice gratitude deepen loyalty. Workplaces that practice gratitude create trust that survives pressure. Gratitude may not be the loudest force in relationships, but it is the quietest, strongest, and most enduring. Because in the end, love may bring people together, but gratitude keeps them together. Chapter 6. Gratitude and Success. Success is often pictured as ambition, hard work, and relentless drive. In the American imagination, it is the entrepreneur in Silicon Valley coding until dawn, the athlete practicing until muscles ache, the student burning midnight oil for a scholarship. Yet beneath these images lies a truth often overlooked. Gratitude is not just a personal virtue. It is a hidden driver of sustainable success. Gratitude shapes how we pursue goals, how we lead, and how we endure. Without it, success can feel hollow, fragile, and short-lived. With it, success becomes more resilient, meaningful, and contagious. Gratitude and the psychology of achievement. Ambition without gratitude often turns into restlessness. You may achieve more, but satisfaction lags behind, leaving you always chasing the next thing. Gratitude interrupts that cycle. By recognizing what has already been accomplished, you fuel motivation with contentment rather than emptiness. A Harvard Business School study found that people who expressed gratitude before completing a challenging task demonstrated greater persistence and creativity. Why? Gratitude reduces anxiety and reframes challenges as opportunities. Instead of saying, "I have to do this," the grateful mind says, "I get to do this." That shift in mindset changes performance. Gratitude as a leadership advantage. Great leaders are rarely remembered only for their strategic brilliance. They are remembered for how they made people feel. Gratitude is a leader's most underrated tool. When leaders consistently express appreciation, employees report higher loyalty, lower turnover, and greater willingness to go above and beyond. A study from the American Psychological Association found that employees who felt valued were 60% more motivated and 90% more likely to recommend their company as a good place to work. Steve Jobs once said, "Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people." Gratitude is how you acknowledge and empower that team. It transforms leadership from command into collaboration. Gratitude fuels creativity and innovation. Stress and scarcity narrow the mind. Gratitude broadens it. Psychologist Barbara Fredrickson's Broaden and Build theory demonstrates that positive emotions like gratitude expand cognitive resources, making people more open, flexible, and creative. Consider how innovation often comes from environments where people feel safe, recognized, and encouraged. A grateful culture fosters that safety. When individuals know their efforts are seen, they take risks, share ideas, and experiment. In contrast, environments lacking gratitude breed fear and stagnation. In Silicon Valley, some of the most creative startups intentionally build gratitude rituals into their culture. Weekly shout-outs, peer recognition platforms, or gratitude walls. These practices may seem small, but they nurture psychological safety, which fuels breakthrough thinking. Gratitude and resilience in the climb. The road to success is rarely smooth. Entrepreneurs face rejection, athletes face defeat, students face failure. Gratitude equips people to endure these setbacks without collapsing. Why? Because gratitude shifts focus from what went wrong to what remains possible. It frames failure not as a dead end, but as feedback. Thomas Edison famously said after thousands of failed light bulb attempts, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That perspective is gratitude in action, a mindset that transforms failure into fuel. A resilient leader or professional does not ignore obstacles. They acknowledge them while staying grounded in what is still working, who is still supportive, and what lessons can be drawn. This gratitude-based perspective is what keeps them moving when others quit. Gratitude and sustainable ambition. The American culture of success often glorifies hustle, working long hours, sacrificing health, and chasing milestones. But unchecked hustle leads to burnout. Gratitude prevents this by anchoring ambition in appreciation. When you regularly reflect on what you have accomplished, you learn to pace yourself. You still strive, but from a place of fullness rather than lack. Gratitude says, "I will push forward, but I also value where I am." This balance protects against exhaustion and creates long-term sustainability. Athletes use this principle when practicing gratitude for their progress, instead of only obsessing over their next medal. Entrepreneurs use it by celebrating small wins along the way, not just the IPO. Gratitude keeps ambition alive without letting it consume you. Practical success habits with gratitude. 1. Morning success. Scan O before diving into work. Write down one professional opportunity you are grateful for today. It could be a supportive colleague, access to resources, or simply the chance to grow. 2. Celebrate small wins, O. At the end of each week, list 3 small victories. This practice rewires your brain to recognize progress instead of only chasing future goals. 3. Team gratitude rounds. In workplaces, start meetings by having each member thank someone else on the team. It fosters collaboration and builds mutual respect. 4. Reframe stress with gratitude. When faced with pressure, ask, "What does this challenge allow me to learn, prove, or improve?" Gratitude reframes stress as growth. Closing thought. Success without gratitude often ends in emptiness. Another milestone reached, another horizon that still feels out of reach. Gratitude transforms success from a moving target into a fulfilling journey. It does not mean lowering ambition. It means powering ambition with appreciation. It means celebrating progress while pursuing growth. It means leading not only with vision, but with recognition. The most admired leaders, the most resilient achievers, and the most fulfilled professionals are not those who simply reached the top. They are those who paused to give thanks along the way, and in doing so, brought others with them. Gratitude does not make success softer. It makes success stronger. It ensures that when you finally stand at the summit, you do not find yourself alone and empty, but full, grounded, and ready to give back. Chapter 7. Gratitude and Health. Most people think of gratitude as a virtue of the heart. Few realize it is also medicine for the body. Gratitude does not just shape how you feel, it reshapes how your body functions. From the brain to the immune system, from the heart rate to the quality of your sleep. Gratitude leaves measurable fingerprints across nearly every system of human health. This is not poetic exaggeration. It is science. and it may be the most overlooked prescription for wellness available today. Completely free, yet profoundly effective. Gratitude and the brain. Every thought you repeat becomes a pathway in the brain. Gratitude strengthens the neural circuits connected to joy, resilience, and calm. Brain imaging studies from the National Institutes of Health have shown that when people practice gratitude, regions of the brain linked to dopamine, the reward chemical, and serotonin, the happiness chemical, become more active. This means gratitude literally trains the brain to notice the positive, making optimism more natural over time. Instead of being hijacked by stress, the brain develops a habit of scanning for what is working, what is supportive, and what is hopeful. Over weeks and months, this shift rewires emotional stability at a biological level. Gratitude and stress reduction. Stress is one of the greatest threats to health in modern America. It is linked to heart disease, digestive disorders, weakened immunity, and even shortened lifespan. Chronic stress floods the body with cortisol and adrenaline, keeping it in a constant state of fight or flight. Gratitude interrupts that cycle. In a study published in Frontiers in Psychology, participants who kept daily gratitude journals showed significantly lower cortisol levels. By focusing on what is going right rather than everything that could go wrong, gratitude signals to the nervous system that it is safe to relax. Heart rate slows, blood pressure lowers, muscles unclench. This is not just mental relief, it is physical protection. Each moment of gratitude is like pressing a reset button, pulling the body out of chronic alarm and back into balance. Gratitude and sleep. In a culture where nearly 1 in 3 American adults report insufficient sleep, gratitude is a surprisingly powerful ally. A study from the University of Manchester found that people who practiced gratitude before bed not only fell asleep faster, but enjoyed deeper, more restorative rest. Why? Because worry keeps the brain awake. Gratitude shifts mental focus away from anxiety and toward appreciation, quieting the racing mind. A simple nightly ritual of writing down 3 things you are thankful for can reduce insomnia and improve sleep quality. Without medication, without side effects. Better sleep is not just about feeling rested. It enhances memory, stabilizes mood, repairs the body, and strengthens the immune system. Gratitude, practiced consistently, can unlock these benefits by transforming the way your mind prepares for rest. Gratitude and the immune system. The immune system is highly sensitive to emotional states. Negative emotions like chronic anger or fear suppress immune response, while positive emotions boost it. Gratitude strengthens immunity by lowering stress hormones and increasing activity of natural killer cells, the body's first line of defense against illness. Researchers at the University of Utah found that people who scored higher on gratitude scales had stronger antibody responses to vaccines. In other words, their bodies were better prepared to fight infections. In a world still navigating global health crises, gratitude is not just a nice-to-have. It is a health practice with profound implications for resilience against disease. Gratitude and the heart. Cardiovascular disease remains the leading cause of death in the United States. While diet and exercise are crucial, mindset plays a larger role than most realize. A study at the University of California, San Diego, examined patients with heart failure. Those who kept a daily gratitude journal showed lower levels of inflammatory biomarkers and better heart rate variability, a marker of cardiovascular resilience. Gratitude literally strengthened their hearts. Think of it this way. When you live in chronic resentment, anger, or fear, the heart works harder under pressure. Gratitude softens that pressure. It allows the heart to beat not only more steadily, but more healthfully. Gratitude and longevity. All of these effects, reduced stress, better sleep, stronger immunity, healthier hearts, add up to something profound. Longer life. In research from the University of California, Berkeley, individuals who reported higher levels of gratitude also reported fewer doctor visits, healthier habits, and greater life satisfaction. These factors combined are strongly correlated with longer lifespans. While no practice can promise immortality, gratitude extends not only the years in your life, but the life in your years. It is not simply about surviving longer. It is about living with vitality, presence, and joy in the time you do have. Practical health rituals of gratitude. 1. Gratitude breathing, 5 minutes daily. Inhale slowly and think of one person or event you are grateful for. Exhale and silently say, "Thank you." Repeat for several cycles. This lowers stress and calms the nervous system. 2. Bedtime gratitude journal or each night. Write 3 specific things you are thankful for. Relive them in your mind. This prepares the brain for restful sleep. 3. Gratitude walks or take a 15-minute walk. Focusing not on problems, but on things around you to appreciate. The weather, the trees, your body's ability to move. Walking while grateful enhances cardiovascular health and mood simultaneously. 4. Gratitude check-in. During stress, when you feel tension rising, pause. Ask, what is still good right now? This practice lowers cortisol in the moment and prevents chronic stress buildup. Closing thought. Doctors prescribe medicine for the body. Therapists offer tools for the mind. But gratitude is a prescription that strengthens both at once. It is not an alternative to medical care, but a complement to it. An everyday practice that amplifies health from the inside out. Gratitude is not only about saying thank you. It is about protecting your brain from anxiety, your heart from stress, your immune system from weakness, and your life from being wasted in worry. In the end, health is not just the absence of disease. It is the presence of balance, resilience, and vitality. Gratitude nurtures all 3. It is not only a moral practice, it is a biological one. And in a world where health is often complicated, gratitude remains one of the simplest, most powerful, and most accessible tools we have. Chapter 8. Gratitude and relationships. No success, no achievement, no dream is fulfilling if it is lived alone. Human beings are wired for connection. From family bonds to friendships, from marriages to professional networks, relationships form the architecture of a meaningful life. Yet relationships are also fragile. They are tested by stress, conflict, misunderstanding, and neglect. If there is one force powerful enough to strengthen, heal, and sustain relationships across these challenges, it is gratitude. Gratitude does not erase conflict, but it softens it. Gratitude does not prevent disappointment, but it reframes it. Gratitude does not eliminate the work of relationships, but it fuels that work with warmth and respect. When gratitude is present, love deepens, trust grows, and bonds last. The science of gratitude in relationships. Researchers at the University of Georgia studied married couples and found that gratitude was the single strongest predictor of marital satisfaction, even more than communication style or conflict resolution. Spouses who regularly expressed appreciation for one another felt more committed, more connected, and less likely to consider separation. Gratitude acts as relational glue. It tells the other person, I see you, I value you, you matter. This recognition nourishes the emotional core of every relationship. Without it, even small problems become amplified. With it, even large challenges feel more manageable. Gratitude in friendships. Friendships are often taken for granted because they lack the formal commitments of marriage or family, yet they are no less vital. Gratitude ensures friendships are not just convenient, but cherished. Think of the difference between a friend who occasionally says, "Thanks for being there," versus one who regularly affirms your presence, your advice, your humor, your loyalty. The first maintains connection. The second deepens it. In surveys, people who intentionally expressed gratitude to friends reported higher levels of closeness and trust. Friendships thrive not on the number of years they last, but on the depth of appreciation within them. Gratitude in families. Family life, especially in America, often runs at full speed. Parents juggle careers, children navigate school schedules, and households fill with tasks. In the busyness, expressions of gratitude can fade. Yet families are the very place where gratitude is most transformative. Children who grow up in households where gratitude is practiced develop stronger empathy, higher self-esteem, and healthier mental health. Parents who express gratitude to one another model respect and partnership. Adult children who show gratitude to aging parents strengthen bonds across generations. A simple habit, like each family member sharing one thing they are grateful for at dinner, creates an atmosphere of appreciation. Over time, this atmosphere builds resilience against conflict, fostering a sense that no matter what happens, love and respect are always present. Gratitude in romantic relationships. Love without gratitude can wither under the weight of expectations, but love with gratitude flourishes, even under strain. Gratitude shifts attention away from what a partner lacks and toward what they bring. John Gottman, a leading researcher on marriage, emphasizes the importance of the magic ratio. 5 positive interactions for every 1 negative. Gratitude fuels those positive interactions. A thank you note, a compliment, or a word of recognition balances the inevitable tensions of life together. Couples who practice gratitude not only report greater happiness, they also show higher levels of forgiveness. When appreciation outweighs criticism, forgiveness becomes easier. Gratitude in this sense is not just emotional, it is practical. It is how relationships survive the storms. Gratitude in professional relationships. The workplace is often thought of as transactional, tasks, deadlines, results, but at its core, it is also relational. Teams succeed or fail based on trust, morale, and cooperation. Gratitude transforms professional environments by replacing cold efficiency with human connection. A Gallup poll found that employees who receive regular recognition are not only more engaged, but also more productive and less likely to quit. Gratitude from leaders to employees and among colleagues themselves creates cultures where people feel valued, not invisible. It does not take grand gestures. A manager saying, "I appreciate how you handled that client call," can mean more than a bonus months later. Small, specific, consistent gratitude builds loyalty stronger than financial incentives alone. Gratitude as a healing force. All relationships face hurt. Words spoken in anger, trust broken, expectations unmet. Gratitude does not erase wounds, but it opens the door to healing. When someone expresses gratitude even during conflict, it signals, "Despite our pain, I still value what we share." That signal softens defenses, allowing reconciliation to begin. Consider a strained parent-child relationship. A parent who says, "I am grateful you are still trying to talk with me, even when it's hard," can shift the tone from accusation to appreciation. The child feels seen, not judged. From there, healing becomes possible. Practical habits for grateful relationships. 1. The gratitude letter. Write a letter to someone who has shaped your life but whom you have never properly thanked. Deliver it in person if possible. Research shows this single act can boost well-being for both giver and receiver for weeks. 2. Daily appreciation in couples. Each night, share one thing you appreciated about your partner that day. Keep it specific. "I appreciated how you encouraged me before my meeting," not just "thanks for everything." 3. Friendship check-ins. Send a simple text. "Thinking of you today, grateful for our friendship." It costs seconds, but strengthens years of connection. 4. Workplace gratitude rounds. Begin team meetings with brief acknowledgments. When gratitude becomes part of the culture, collaboration improves naturally. Closing thought. Relationships are the treasure chest of life. But like any treasure, they require care. Neglect causes rust. Entitlement causes decay. Gratitude is the polish that keeps them shining. It is not complicated. It is not expensive, but it is powerful. Gratitude transforms roommates into lifelong friends, colleagues into allies, marriages into partnerships, families into sanctuaries. It is the difference between relationships that merely survive and those that truly thrive. At the end of life, very few people wish they had earned more money or climbed one more rung on the corporate ladder. Most wish they had loved more deeply, forgiven more quickly, and expressed more gratitude to the people who mattered. Gratitude ensures you do not wait until the end to realize what you already have. It strengthens relationships today so that tomorrow you can look back with fewer regrets and more joy. Because in the end, gratitude is not just about what you feel inside. It is about what you give outside, to the people who make your life worth living. Chapter 9. Gratitude as a daily practice. Gratitude becomes powerful not when it is admired in theory, but when it is practiced in reality. Reading about gratitude can inspire. Feeling grateful once in a while can uplift. But transformation only comes when gratitude is woven into the rhythm of daily life. To turn gratitude into a discipline, you need systems, structures that make gratitude not dependent on mood or convenience, but as automatic as brushing your teeth. This chapter is your roadmap. Practical methods, tested rituals, and intentional frameworks for practicing gratitude every single day. Why systems matter. Motivation is fleeting. On a good day, gratitude flows easily. On a stressful day, it disappears. Systems ensure that gratitude is not left to chance. They make it a habit, not a hope. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, reminds us, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." A gratitude system does not wait for inspiration. It builds practices so small and so consistent that over time, they rewire your attention. The good news: gratitude practices do not require extra hours or expensive tools. They require only intention, consistency, and the willingness to pause long enough to notice. The morning anchor. Begin with thanks. How you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. A rushed morning often bleeds into a restless day. A grateful morning lays the foundation for calm focus. Practice. The morning 3. Upon waking, before touching your phone, list 3 things you are grateful for. Keep them specific. The way sunlight came through the window, not just my house. Speak them aloud or write them in a notebook. Neuroscience shows that naming gratitude activates the prefrontal cortex, priming the brain for focus and optimism throughout the day. The midday reset. Gratitude as stress management. Workdays in America are filled with interruptions, emails, deadlines, unexpected crises. By noon, stress often hijacks attention. Gratitude can serve as a midday reset button. Practice. The gratitude pause. Set an alarm or calendar reminder at lunch. Pause for 2 minutes to recall one person or opportunity that made your day possible. Send a quick thank you text or email if relevant. This short ritual lowers stress hormones and rebuilds focus. It shifts the brain from reaction to appreciation, protecting energy for the second half of the day. The evening reflection. Closing with thanks evenings are when worries resurface, bills unpaid, tasks unfinished, conversations unresolved. Left unchecked, these thoughts spill into poor sleep. Gratitude can reframe the day before bed. Practice. The gratitude journal. Write down 3 to 5 things you appreciated about the day. Add one challenge and what lesson or hidden gift it contained. End by writing, "Tomorrow I will carry this gratitude with me." Studies from the University of Manchester confirm that people who kept such journals not only slept better, but also woke up more energized. Gratitude at night restores peace and prepares the mind for renewal. Weekly practices. Deepening the habit. Daily gratitude builds consistency. Weekly gratitude builds depth. Once a week, take longer moments to reflect more broadly. 1. The gratitude letter. Write a letter to someone you appreciate but have never fully thanked. Deliver it in person, by phone, or by mail. Research shows this can boost happiness for both parties for weeks. 2. The gratitude walk. Spend 30 minutes walking outdoors, with no agenda except noticing what you appreciate: the air, the scenery, the ability to move. This practice integrates gratitude into the body, not just the mind. 3. The gratitude inventory. Make a list of unnoticed blessings: clean water, working electricity, freedom of choice. This broadens perspective beyond personal comfort into societal privilege. Relational practices. Gratitude with others. Gratitude is most powerful when expressed outwardly. It strengthens bonds, builds trust, and multiplies joy. Family rituals. At dinner, each person shares one thing they are grateful for. This creates an atmosphere of appreciation at home. Workplace rituals. Begin meetings with a short round of acknowledgements. Over time, this builds culture as much as strategy does. Friendship check-ins. Once a week, send a short message to a friend. Thinking of you today. Grateful for our friendship. Relationships thrive not on grand gestures, but on small, consistent affirmations. Gratitude in adversity. The true test of gratitude is not during success, but during struggle. When life is heavy, gratitude does not erase pain, but it provides perspective. Practice the hardship reframe. When facing difficulty, ask, what hidden gift or lesson might this carry? Write it down, even if it feels incomplete. Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl wrote in Man's Search for Meaning, "The last of the human freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Gratitude is one such choice, an anchor in the storm. Digital gratitude, protecting attention. In a culture dominated by screens, gratitude must also extend to how we manage technology. Social media thrives on comparison, which erodes appreciation. Practice the digital gratitude rule. Before posting or scrolling, pause to list one thing you are grateful for offline. Share it if appropriate. This ensures that technology becomes a tool for connection, not distraction. Advanced practice. The gratitude vision. Gratitude is not only about the present, it also shapes the future. By combining gratitude with vision, you train the mind to anticipate goodness. Practice future gratitude visualization. Sit quietly and imagine a future goal achieved. Feel gratitude in advance, as though it has already happened. Write, I am grateful for the strength and opportunities that led me here. This practice blends gratitude with faith, fueling motivation with positivity. Athletes and entrepreneurs often use this technique before major challenges. Common obstacles and how to overcome them. 1. I don't feel grateful today. Oh, gratitude is a discipline, not an emotion. Practice anyway, even if it feels mechanical. The feeling often follows the action. 2. I forget to practice. Oh, tie gratitude to existing habits. For example, list gratitudes while brushing teeth or during your morning coffee. 3. It feels repetitive. Oh, go deeper. Instead of, I'm grateful for my health, write, I'm grateful my body carried me through a long day at work without collapsing. Specificity keeps gratitude fresh. Closing thought. Gratitude practiced daily is like compound interest. 1 day of thanks feels good. 10 days rewires perspective. 100 days transforms identity. Over years, gratitude becomes not just something you do, but who you are. Life in America is filled with noise, speed, and pressure. Gratitude slows you down just enough to see what is already here, what is already working, what is already beautiful. It does not ask you to deny pain. It asks you to refuse blindness to blessings. Begin with small steps. Morning thanks, midday pause, evening reflection. Build weekly rituals, relational habits, digital boundaries. Over time, gratitude will move from practice to lifestyle, from effort to instinct. And when it does, you will discover something profound. Gratitude is not only about counting blessings, it is about becoming a blessing to yourself, to others, and to the world you touch. Chapter 10. Gratitude and Legacy. At the end of life, very few people ask, how much money did I make? Or how many awards did I collect? The questions are different. Did I love well? Did I matter? Did I leave something of value behind? This is the essence of legacy, and gratitude is the foundation upon which true legacy is built. Legacy is not measured in possessions but in presence. Not in what you kept for yourself, but in what you gave away. Gratitude is the discipline that shapes how you give, how you remember, and how you are remembered. Gratitude as memory preserved. When you live with gratitude, you naturally collect moments, not just milestones. You notice the teacher who stayed late to help you, the friend who called when you were struggling, the child who hugged you after a long day. Gratitude teaches you to preserve these memories, to honor them, and to pass them forward. In families, this becomes heritage. A parent who regularly expresses gratitude models for children how to see the world with appreciation. Those children grow up not only with good manners, but with strong hearts. They, in turn, carry gratitude into their own families. Legacy becomes generational. Gratitude is how we ensure that the small kindnesses of life are not lost in time, but carried forward like treasures. Gratitude and storytelling. Every culture in history has passed down wisdom through stories. In America, families gather at Thanksgiving tables, in church halls, at backyard barbecues, telling stories of sacrifice, triumph, and love. Gratitude gives these stories their power. A story without gratitude is just a list of events. A story with gratitude is a legacy of meaning. It says, "This is not just what happened. This is why it mattered." Imagine two grandparents telling their grandchildren about hard times. One focuses only on pain. "It was so hard. We had nothing." The other frames it with gratitude. "It was hard, yes, but we were grateful for the neighbors who helped us, for the lessons we learned, for the strength it built." Which story do you think will inspire the next generation more? Gratitude in communities' legacy is not only personal, it is communal. Gratitude fuels generosity, and generosity builds communities that last. In neighborhoods where people practice gratitude, thanking local volunteers, appreciating public servants, recognizing small contributions, civic life strengthens. People feel seen. They give more. Communities flourish. America has countless examples. Local libraries built through donations, food banks sustained by volunteers, parks maintained by neighbors. All of these are acts of gratitude transformed into action. The legacy is not only infrastructure but belonging. Gratitude and forgiveness. Every legacy faces unfinished business, relationships strained, words unsaid, hurts unhealed. Gratitude has the power to soften these edges. When you practice gratitude toward even those who hurt you, for the lessons learned, for the resilience gained, you release bitterness. That release becomes part of your legacy. You hand down not cycles of resentment, but patterns of forgiveness. Children who see parents or grandparents choose gratitude over bitterness inherit more than stories. They inherit a way of living, a way of refusing to let the past poison the future. Gratitude and end-of-life peace. Studies on hospice patients reveal something striking. Those who approach death with gratitude experience greater peace, less fear, and deeper connection with loved ones. Gratitude at the end of life is not about ignoring regrets. It is about choosing to focus on the gifts, the people, the moments that made life meaningful. And when families witness that peace, they carry it. Gratitude becomes the final lesson, the final inheritance. Practical ways to build a legacy of gratitude. 1. Write legacy letters or craft letters to children, grandchildren, or close friends, sharing not just achievements, but the people and experiences you are grateful for. These letters become timeless reminders of values, not just events. 2. Family gratitude rituals or create traditions. Gratitude jars at New Year's, Thanksgiving thank you circles, birthday affirmations. These rituals anchor gratitude into family culture. 3. Mentorship through gratitude, or when guiding younger colleagues or mentees, explicitly thank them for their questions, energy, or growth. This models leadership as service, not status. 4. Community contributions, a volunteer, donate, or mentor with gratitude for the opportunities you've received. Legacy is not what you keep, but what you release into the world. The ripple effect. The beauty of gratitude is its exponential impact. A single act of appreciation can ripple through generations. A father thanks his daughter for her courage. She grows up confident, raises children with the same strength, and decades later, that family line carries gratitude like a signature. In organizations, a leader who values gratitude inspires teams who, in turn, carry that culture into future workplaces. The ripple continues beyond the leader's tenure, long after their name fades from the building. This is legacy. Not fame that fades, but influence that multiplies. Closing thought. One day, all of us will leave something behind. The question is not whether we will leave a legacy, but what kind. Gratitude ensures that your legacy is not bitterness, regret, or neglect. It ensures that what you leave behind is light, strength, and love. Gratitude makes memory a gift instead of a burden, turns community into family, and transforms endings into beginnings for those who follow. Success fades, wealth transfers, achievements are forgotten. But gratitude, the way you loved, the way you appreciated, the way you gave thanks, remains in the lives you touched. So live today with the end in mind. Express gratitude while you can. Build rituals that outlast you. Teach the next generation not only how to succeed, but how to see. Because when the final chapter of your life is written, gratitude will be the ink that ensures your story continues, through the voices, the lives, and the hearts of those you leave behind.